Alrighty, we are live with zZounds Live Gear Expo. We are super lucky to have Martin or Skip from Martin here. So dialing in from Pennsylvania. Are you in Nazareth?
I'm just outside of Nazareth, but
All right.
say
Yeah.
consider it close enough.
Yeah, definitely. So we went out there not too long ago and got to see the factory and everything, and we saw you and hung out. So hopefully we can do that again sometime in the future. But for now we'll just hang out digitally.
Yeah, still trying to figure out how to make that mahogany and rosewood scented candle.
Oh,
Everybody
there you
comes
go.
into the plant and they always like that smell,
Yeah.
kind of like when you open your new guitar for the first time and get that smell, sort of the same type of aphrodisiac for musicians. There
So
you go.
so I keep this handy just in case I need that lovely scent.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know, this is like a headstock from that I
Yeah.
picked up in Nazareth. So
Piece of genuine mahogany right there.
everyone needs a piece of mahogany laying around. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Skip. And like we were talking about earlier, we can't unfortunately be in sunny Southern California. So we want to give you guys the chance to show off some of your new stuff. So you guys have
Thank you.
been pretty busy though, huh?
Yeah, ironically, when the pandemic hit, that those first 4 to 6 weeks were a little weird. Um, Trying to figure out what we could do, what we couldn't do, but
Mm-hmm.
we started shipping guitars, and we're shipping guitars for almost 8 weeks while we weren't producing. So that created a little bit of a backlog for us, and thankfully the demand is still strong, and I hear that from a lot of my colleagues across the industry that um, especially like this type of thing, these live events, people jamming in place, doing live videos, all the technology around that has been strong. Acoustic guitars, electric guitars have been strong,
Mm-hmm.
um, as well as some of the electronic parts of the music industry as well. So that's good for all of us. And thankfully, people are still wanting to make music. And I
Yeah.
do know that when people want to lift themselves up, music is a great way to do it.
Oh, 100%. I know, kind of, trapped here in my apartment in Chicago. I've been doing a ton of writing, recording, trying new styles. If you have the time to do it, now's the time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, cool. So you want to show off some of the new stuff you got coming?
Sure. So I'm gonna come up here and share my screen. You tell me if you can see the presentation.
Yeah, let's see here. Cool. Yeah, we're rolling. So
All right. So, everybody, thanks for joining us. And I'm going to go through the new products that we have for Anaheim this year. As John mentioned, it is disappointing that we can't get out to the show and see all the folks that come to the show and have that face to face. This is at least a way to do it in lieu of being at Anaheim. I'm hoping that Nashville show happens and that the attendance is uplifted because everybody wants to just get to a NAMM show. And then if Nashville happens, hopefully everything stays smooth for 2022 Anaheim. So here's what we got. You may have already seen out there because we released the news to the public that we started about 2 years ago talking with David Gilmore, our partners at Westside Distribution in the UK, have a relationship. Phil and Johnny X, and specifically Mark Denise, who handles their artist relations, started the conversation, and lo and behold, we were able to link up with David, and we built him 6 customs of different appointment levels and different wood types for his ability to just check them out and see what the different types of combinations struck him. And from that, he really fell in love with the Synchro Mahogany guitars that we did. And
mm-hmm.
I'll sidetrack for a second on Synchro Mahogany. What is that? Synchro Mahogany, we get it from Belize now. And it's trees that fell either cut down or storm damage that make their way into the river. And folks go in there, dive down for these logs that otherwise would be perfect for building guitars out of if they weren't in the river. They pull these logs up, and then it's like a 2-year long process to take all of the moisture out of it and get it to where it can be used for building great guitars. And we do have something on our website that shows a little bit about that. You can also go online and check it out. Search up Synchro Mahogany, and you can see pictures of and video of how they actually do it. It's pretty impressive. Once the process gives us wood that we can build guitars out of, it turns out to be a great tone wood for flat top steel string acoustic guitars. And the customs that we sent over to David, he fell in love with them. When we, pardon me, when we knew we were going to do the project with David, of course, all of us thought, wow, it'd be cool. We know he loved that D35 that sold at auction almost 2 years ago now, I think it was, for $1.2 million, his D35. And if you didn't know the story behind that, Manny's Music in New York City, in Manhattan area, it was well known. It was kind of like Music Row of New York City for buying instruments. He bought it from a guy outside of Manny's that was, I guess, playing it. And that became his workhorse over the years. He wrote most of his songs on that. We thought we would do sort of like a carbon copy of that, but he really loved this Synchro Mahogany. And for us, it was exciting because you got a chance to see some of the creative side, not only everything we've seen David Gilmour do in his performing career and songwriting, but just the things that he liked based on what a guitar could be. And that Synchro Mahogany that he chose was interesting because we didn't know what he would want to do, and he decided he wanted to do a D35. So this is the first D35 that we've done in Synchro Mahogany. I know that for sure. I think we've changed some woods on D35 type guitars. The 35 really is a 3-piece back, and that's what makes it a D35. Just a little bit of background information. Back in the 60s, we had Brazilian rosewood that wasn't big enough to build even small guitars out of. And somebody in the plant said, well, what if we cut a wedge and we took 3 pieces and made a back out of it? And that's how the D35 was born. So it's a 3-piece back, Synchro Mahogany sides and back. It's got an Adirondack VTS top, which really, really makes it sound like it's 20, 30, 40 years old right out of the box. The VTS is our vintage stone system where it's torrefaction, where that seasons the wood to make it like it's old. And you can go out and look that up and learn a little bit about that on your own. The braces are also Adirondack, and we use protein glue for the top. This guitar has some of the modern deluxe features of our guitars and a little bit of the authentic features. So it's vintage-esque, if you will.
Yeah.
And one of those other modern deluxe features is the composite fiber bridge plate. And that's 2 pieces of carbon fiber sandwiched on a piece of Adirondack spruce. And that really makes the guitar ring, and it makes the top so responsive. In my opinion, maybe the most interesting part of this guitar is that David Gilmour, while he liked the guitars he sent, he wanted to tweak the neck a little bit. So based on the feedback, we made 3 necks and we sent them to him. And he really liked one of them, and he just wanted a couple more tweaks with it. So after the 5th fret, it gets a little wider as it goes down towards the body. And there's a little bit more meat from the 1st to the 5th fret. It's kind of more like a full thickness that was tweaked, and it's one of a kind. You're only going to find this neck, the feel of this neck, this barrel shape on the David Gilmour. It is right from his preferences.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, as far as it being unique, I mean, this is David Gilmour. Every decision that was made is specific to what he wanted. So, I imagine when you pick it up, you get a kind of a little bit of like a magic feel from that.
You really do. It's. I mean, we sent him some things to choose from, and then he told us everything that he wanted. And I've played the first ones, and you do kind of get that feel. It's almost like you're David Gilmour for a second.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be David Gilmour for a second?
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
Another thing that he wanted that we really think is cool is some of our vintage guitars and some of the new stuff we do that we try to put a vintage aspect onto a guitar is we have a stamp on the back of the headstocks, pretty iconic. It's a CF Martin branded logo. And this is the CF Martin branded logo with David Gilmour's name under the stamp. It really just adds an extra flavor to the guitar. And pardon me, on the neck, you've got his shape, his feel, his profile that he wanted. You got a stamp, and also the dots on the fingerboard position markers. He wanted those just a little bit smaller, and it makes it look more elegant, and just adds that extra flavor of his interests. And then the last part of it that really makes it feel vintage is that it has the vintage gloss finish that we do on our Authentics. So really, really excited. It's $54.99. There's only 250 for the world. We have a 6-string and a 12-string version. And there's some minor differences with the 12-string. There's only 250 worldwide, and we're going to build to the orders we get for 12-string and 6-string. So it's going to be a combination, though. Once we get through all that, we'll post how many 12 strings are out there and how many 6 strings are out there. Why only 250 for the world? Synchro Mahogany is really hard to get. There's a long process to get it. We only have so much, so we couldn't just keep it open-ended. And we also wanted to make it a limited edition to add some of the mystique to it. So the 12-string, again, is Synchro Mahogany, sides and back. And if I didn't mention, the neck is also Synchro Mahogany, the front block, the rear block. A main difference is that the top on the 12-string has a Carpathian top with Sitkid braces. And the 12-string neck has our high-performance taper, like the couple other 12 strings that we run in our lineup. He didn't ask for any changes on the 12-string. He felt really comfortable with that. This also has a stamp on the headstock. Underneath the name David Gilmour, it says 12-string stamped as well. And it also has the vintage gloss finish. So we're really happy with them. I did get a few questions. Why are they both the same price? Because typically 12 strings, a little bit more if it's the exact same model, but a 12-string. Well, there were a few differences. The Carpathian top versus the Adirondack. Less work into the neck. So we thought it would be cool just to offer them both at the same price, considering we were able to do that with the changes.
Nice.
Whoops. I skipped the slide. We also have another 12-string that we're adding to our 16 series. And aside from the David Gilmour, because it sounds incredible with that Synchro Mahogany, and it's just a really great guitar. This Grand J16E 12-string might be the best 12-string guitar I've heard at Martin Guitar, built at Martin Guitar, and I've heard a lot of them. I've been at Martin Guitar 28 years. So it's based off the 16 platform. It's got rosewood back and sides with a Sitka spruce top. The body is just, it's a Grand J, so it's big and it's earthy enough to carry all those overtones. The rosewood gives it a really strong bass response, while the mid and treble still ring true. The the 16 series, what we've done with that, a theme across the line, is on all of them, they're triple O depth. So this is a Grand J body, but it's only triple O depth. So it's a little bit thinner. Therefore, because of the bigger body shape, it still feels comfortable in the playing position. It's got a gloss top, and it comes in our soft shell case that makes it great for travel aspect. And the soft shell case is really almost like a hard shell, but in a gig bag form. It's got shoulder straps, and you're ready to go when you strap up with it. So if if you get a chance to get out there, see zZounds has one. I don't think you'll be I don't think you'll be mad that you made this purchase, because they sound amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get my hands on one eventually. But a good 12 string is just, I mean, when you play those, chords on a 12 string and it just sounds amazing, there's very few feelings that kind of, really kind of give you that feeling. But
yeah, and it's usually never your first guitar. I mean, this is, it's $2,099, right? It is built incredibly. It's a Martin. It's not a D28 12 string that's going to get you closer to that $3,000 price point. So if you're looking for a really good 12 string at a reasonable price, this one certainly shouldn't disappoint.
Awesome.
This next guitar is our OOL Earth, and it's built on our FSC platform. It's 100% certified in its components. And we're going to contribute $5,000 to the Rainforest Alliance for this year. The guitar does really well. We'll keep that going. The reason why we're not doing proceeds for each guitar sold is that becomes really difficult for tracking and tax purposes. So we're going to make a contribution, and hopefully this does really well. I've seen a lot of the comments already have been quite positive around it. But I'm going to tell you the story of where it was birthed.
Awesome.
At the NAMM show, the past couple of years, we partnered with Reverb Nation. That's not Reverb that sells vintage guitars, the big internet selling platform. Reverb Nation does a lot of things to conserve the environment. One of those is they get guitars and they take them to big concerts. High-profile artists sign them, and then they auction them off. And the proceeds from that auction go towards saving the earth. So we really like that concept. We've been trying to use Fsc Materials, which FSC stands for the Forest Stewardship Council, and they make sure that there's responsible harvesting going on. We do use trees to build guitars, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that those people that are cutting those trees down are cutting them in a responsible manner, promoting regrowth so that trees last. We don't want to partner with folks that are going in and wiping out whole hillsides and not being socially responsible for our future generations. And it's really important to us, and that's why we do FSC partnering. And this one has a picture of the earth on it. It is drawn by Robert Getzel. Robert Getzel has done a lot of work with us. He's Chris Martin's cousin, and I can't say enough about how fun it is to work with Robert, and also how well he's able to take an idea that we have and put it on paper and then eventually onto a guitar. So he drew this artwork, and then we have a way of printing onto the tops of our guitars. So this is a printed version of his artwork, and it's got an FSC Sapelli back and sides. It's a OOL body shape, so they're super comfortable and have a great sound component to them as well. It's an FSC Sitka spruce top, ebony fingerboard and bridge that are also FSC, adorned with a satin finish and that same soft shell case that's easy on the go.
That's awesome. So not only does it have awesome artwork, it's socially responsible, and it plays amazing and sounds amazing.
Yeah, and I continue to be surprised myself by the OOL body shape. We came out with it, I'm going to say I think it was 8 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
right therein. We have a very high demand for this body shape because it's comfortable on the couch. It's great on stage. It's also a great studio guitar. It sort of covers a lot of bases, and it can drive too in a group setting as well. So sort of the body shape for all different stylistic approaches to the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
The next piece that we have is a uke. We often remind folks how important the ukulele is to us as a company.
Mm-hmm.
In the 1920s and into the early 30s, there was a period of time, a few years, where we made more ukuleles than we made guitars. It saved the company actually during leading up to the Depression, through the Depression. Guitars were expensive. Ukuleles were less expensive, but still a way to make music.
Mm-hmm.
And as we talked about a little earlier regarding the pandemic, in when times are not that great, music is it's a good resource. It's a good way to pick us up when we're down. And in that Depression era, there was a ukulele craze, and we are one of the oldest, if not the oldest, ukulele manufacturers in the United States, for sure. In the world, maybe I probably should do research on that, who the oldest one in the world that's still operating is. Certainly, we're in the list.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is an expensive uke. It's built in our Nazareth plant. It's also built 100% FSC compliant. It's genuine mahogany top, back, and sides that are FSC. It's got an FSC ebony fingerboard and bridge, satin finish. It's got our new ratio black tuners. The type of tuners that you get on ukuleles, a lot of times they're finicky. They don't stay in tune. These have a ratio for the string tension. They tune and they hold their tune very well. So we're happy to debut those, and they also come in a soft gig bag.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't imagine, like, with the ukulele, when I found out that fact where you guys were selling more ukes than you were guitars at one point, I was totally blown away, but then it made sense. So it's cool to see you guys still kind of honoring that, part of your company, and, coming out with super, amazing high-end ukuleles. Because, I mean, you can't pick up a ukulele and, it definitely makes you happier when you hear a ukulele. You think of Hawaii, and you think of the beach, and you think of, things that are brighter.
Yeah, and I mean there is a craze. It kind of comes and goes a little bit, but it's a gateway drug to the guitar. It's an easy way. I shouldn't say easy, because playing ukulele, any instrument, takes some dedication. But the ukulele is easy on your fingers. A lot of people that try to learn to play guitar, guitar players know this. You got to power through that beginning part. It's, even if you're playing an electric guitar that's easier to press, it takes time, it takes manual dexterity, it takes dedication. And it makes it a little bit easier if you start with a ukulele, because the strings are easy to depress. There's not as many strings, and the chords are simpler, and than you'll find on guitar. It can be intimidating. So you can be off and running playing a song after just a couple hours watching some YouTube videos. So it's a lot of fun.
Totally.
This next set of guitars that we have is in the Rhodes series, and this is our D13E with Zero Cody, and it's a really affordable professional type guitar. In a Dreadnought body, it's got a Sitka spruce top and Zirconi back and sides. And I'm going to skip for a second. This is fine veneer Zirconi. So fine veneers to thinner pieces of solid wood, one on the outside, one on the inside, glued to a core wood. And that core wood that we use is Kaya, or African mahogany. And we specifically want to use that because the sound response that we get from it. These guitars sound amazing, and they also look amazing. This wood, trust me, I did not pick the best looking piece for the photo. The first 30 that were made were on a truck, and I was going to inspect those. Every one I looked at it after the next was nicer, and I needed to get some photographs. I literally walked back, grabbed the first Dreadnought that I saw and the first GPC that I saw, and got them photographed. The wood on these guitars, the cathedraling, the light and dark contrast of the grain pattern, is just amazing.
Yeah, I love that. You don't get, everyone's seen the back of an acoustic guitar, but how many times do you look at it and you're just
and it looks
away?
Like that? Yeah. So again, this is our classic Dreadnought body shape with the Sitka top and the Zirconi fine veneer. It's got a green abalone pattern rosette, a rich light fingerboard and bridge. It's a full gloss body, and it's got the MXT electronics that we debuted on our Road series at our last show. And it's got a tuner, Anaheim show, pardon me. It's got a tuner in the sound hole. So it makes it much more stage ready. You can mute. There's a button you can push, and when you push that, it mutes your output response so that you can retune in between songs, and then push it back, and boom, you're right up and playing again. We've been getting a lot of really great feedback on that, and it's pretty discreet. The tuner's inside the sound hole, visible for you tuning the guitar, but not offensive from an aesthetic standpoint. Then we've got a soft shell case on that one as well. We also have the guitar in a GPC, so our Grand Performance Cutaway allows you more access up to the higher registers of the frets. And sometimes you may think the Cutaway is a little sexier than the classic Dreadnought. So we wanted some options for people that didn't want a Dreadnought. Plus, the GP is a little tighter in the waist, a little bit more comfortable for certain body types. Same basic appointment levels, Sitka spruce top, the fine veneer back and sides. This one has an MOP pattern rosette, so it's white versus green abalone, and rich light fingerboard and bridge with a full gloss body and the same MXT electronics. And I think I have a picture of this one.
Oh yeah.
It's just incredible. It never ceases to amaze me, the beauty that wood has. I mean, I've been around it a long time, and I'm still impressed by how beautiful wood can be.
Yeah, totally. I'm right there with you.
Sounds silly, but
you guys need to have like a warning, saying you may not play this guitar. You will only stare at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful, though. I love it.
I do know people over the years. I give tours. I can't wait till we get back opened up. Back to normal. We give tours every day, Monday through Friday, and I still give tours on Friday. You'd be amazed how many people I've met giving tours, or even at festivals, that don't play guitar, but have a guitar or two hanging in their house just for the beauty of the instrument.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can't see me right now, but all my guitars are strategically placed on walls. It's almost like it's art, that you hang on the wall or put in your studio room. Or
and if you can't play, you never know who's going to come into your house and grab it and play it for you. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, I just make sure I tune them every day.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
All right, so next up, we've been doing really well with our Street Master theme. We did it in the 15 series. And we're going to put one in the Dreadnought Junior lineup. this finished package just feels like an old friend when you get that guitar. It's like having a leather baseball glove that's just worn in perfectly. Um, it, you always want to use it, and the Streetmaster finish package does the same thing. And what we did is we took one of our D Junior 10Es and we put that finish package on it, which has some wear in some areas, makes it look like it's been played for a while, and has that sort of rustic feel to it. It's a Sapelli top, back and sides with an MOP pattern rosette. It's got a rich light fingerboard and bridge. I mentioned the Streetmaster finish. It's got a Sonotone electronics with a soft gig bag.
That's awesome. I love the look of a guitar that just looks like has a million stories to tell.
Right out of the box, and as you play it, you're going to build on those stories, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I know that when I was visiting you guys in PA, we went through like kind of the museum part of the the factory, and I saw that, I forget what model it is, but it was owned by Kurt Cobain and then later owned by Elliott Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And that guitar just looks like it went through, hell and back, really.
I was able to broker that purchase for the company. One of the things that I do in my role is keeping a lookout. I'm part of a team. There's a few of us, including Chris Martin, that get together and decide on those purchases. Mm-hmm. But I through one of our district salesmen, heard about this guitar, and had the guy who was one of our dealers at the time come in with the guitar. And once I saw it, I mean, look, late 80s, early 90s for me, the grunge scene was huge. Mm-hmm. I was like, we had to have it. It took a while for us all to get on the same page with it, but we knew what type of icon Kurt Cobain was. And so the story behind it was Mary Lou Lord was a girlfriend of Kurt Cobain at the time. Mm-hmm. And she lent this guitar to him and basically ended up gifting it to him. He fell in love with it. He played it. He played it a lot for the early stuff, and he was traveling with it into the UK, and I think the relationship was on the rocks, and that was when Courtney Love came in, and Courtney Love found out the story behind the guitar and wasn't having it. So when he didn't want the guitar to be destroyed, because he had named it Grandpa, because it was like, it was played hard, it was had a vintage appeal, and it just looked like a grandpa, Yep. So that's the name of the guitar. And when he came back to the States, he got it back to Mary Lou Lord. He didn't want Courtney to smash it.
Yeah.
So
that would be devastating.
Yeah, and Mary Lou Lord was linked to Elliott Smith. I'm not sure the story of whether or not he played the guitar, but she was linked. Did I lose you guys? Still there? Okay. So yeah, we ended up making the purchase, and it resides in our museum, and who knows, maybe someday we'll do a version of that guitar if we can get it worked out. Yeah, but if you come to the factory and you want to see it, and you find me or you ask for me, you make the trip out to the factory, I'll pull it out from behind the glass and let you check it out.
There you go. So once this whole COVID thing blows over, go to Martin and ask for Skip.
I'm the only Skip that's there. They'll know where I'm at. The next one we're going to do is building on the ukulele, is to make a Streetmaster of a T1 uke. And we tried to get this at a good price point that was attractive. The reason we picked a tenor, it's louder. Once you're going to really start performing, you're probably going to move from a concert or a soprano. Body shape, they're smaller. And the way that this turned, I was a little nervous at how well we would be able to pull this finished package off, because it's just a um, smaller subject you're working with versus a bigger guitar. But we're really happy with the way it came out. It's a mahogany top, back, and sides. It's got a multi-stripe rosette, a SEPO fingerboard and bridge, and that Street Master finish package that we love so much.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I love it.
Thank you. I think we got one last one. And again, I talked about ukuleles. We're trying to get a little resurgence in the ukuleles and put our best foot forward. So a couple of years ago, we refreshed our high pressure laminate koa by taking some of the best matched koa that we could find. And what high pressure laminate is, for all intent and purpose, is like wood, dust, and glue compressed together, and then you can print on it. And it's a great tone wood to use for lower priced instruments. And we took high resolution pictures of that, worked with the company we get the HPL from, and they were able to print the book matched pieces that we put together onto the paper that is used for this.
Awesome.
So the old koa pattern that we had, we were never really happy with it. It was the best we could do, but it kind of gave you that look of like maybe paneling. I don't know if I really want to say that. But now this really does look the part, and it's gorgeous koa versions of HPL, and it's got a multi-stripe rosette, a SEPO fingerboard and bridge, and it comes in a soft gig bag for under $300. And we really wanted to push that price to where it was affordable to consumers, to get into maybe your first Martin piece, maybe your first Martin uke, first Martin in general. It's a good entryway into Martin products.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's it for my presentation.
All right.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, you guys, we're super busy, so lots of good stuff coming from you guys. I mean, I'll send you my address after this. So you can send me the whole line. Maybe minus the Dave Gilmore.
Just to check out for a while, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, especially in a year that has just been so, let's just call it weird.
I mean, that's, I don't know how it is out there for Chicago or some of the listeners that we have on the line, but I think it's been a struggle for all of us, regardless of where you are regionally. I do hear that the state of Texas was a little more rebel with it, but even then they have their socially distance restaurants and things like that, and it's been tough. It's been tough on adults, it's been tough on children, and we're happy that in this particular climate, all of us at Martin Guitar, we don't. You still need paper towels, and I appreciate and I'm thankful for people that make paper towels or other type of things. All that stuff is necessity items. We don't make something that's a necessity, but what we do make brings joy to people and can lift you up when you're down. And it certainly is important to us that we're able to do that in good times and in bad times.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I think you guys are helping a lot of people, and I think the guitar and other outlets you can do creatively is what we all need. So let's see. I want to go through and just see if there's any questions we may have missed, Skip. Let's see. So we did get a question from Jay here. Is there a way to play it doesn't hurt your fingers? And that actually made me think when you're talking about the ukulele as being something that can be kind of your entry point into guitar. But I think other than that, so your strings that come on the guitars, are they mostly mediums, or how do you decide kind of what strings go on what guitar?
The majority of our flat top steel string acoustic guitars are strung with mediums, although we do have Some that are strung with light. David Gilmour's strung with light strings.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer that question, lights or custom lights make it easier
Mm-hmm.
for learning how to play on an acoustic guitar. Um, we make a classical style instrument. When you go to a classical style instrument, the string tension on those are less, so it's a little bit easier. But I don't think, like, the ukulele, I can't remember. Of course, I didn't play ukulele until after I knew how to play guitar,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't remember ever really hearing from somebody that played ukulele and kept up with it saying that their fingers hurt. I don't know
Yeah.
about you. Um,
Yeah. I've played the uke a couple times, but I wouldn't call myself um, a virtuoso in it.
yeah, so I mean, ukulele is good for that, to where even younger um, children that want to learn how to play, I think, are going to find that it's not the same rigor that it is when you learn how to play guitar. But you go to an electric guitar, it's easier to depress the strings, but there is
Mm-hmm.
some downside to that because the string bends so easily. So
Yep.
you're getting it um, out of tune because you're bending the strings too much. So, acoustic guitar has some benefits, electric guitar has some benefits. A classical style instrument, it's one that with nylon strings, is a good place to start. You want to then, graduate up to steel string, use custom lights. The difference when you're using custom lights, medium, the heavier the gauge you use, typically the more volume you will get.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like you can't play once you get pretty decent and you're using custom lights to make it easier on your fingers, once you want more volume, graduate to lights. You'll get a little bit more volume. And then to medium, you eventually get the calluses, but it
Yep.
does take a few months to get through that.
Oh yeah. I mean, not an intentional break, but I went a couple months without playing, and then got inspired, and whenever I get inspired, it's like, okay, I go from zero playing a day to about 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after those first couple of days, I mean, yeah, you really get those
Oh,
calluses
you
going
feel it.
fast. So,
You
but
feel it.
yeah, you just kind of got to play through it.
Yeah, show my age, but there was, Brian Adams' song, or wait, is it Jukebox Hero? Which song played it till my fingers bled? Is one of the lines, but
Uh-huh.
I can't think. Jukebox Hero, I think maybe. But yeah, I've when I was playing a lot, there's been times where I've actually started bleeding because I've cut through the callus. Because I
Yep.
wasn't playing a lot, started playing back again, fingers are hurting, and then breaking through those calluses.
Yep. Yeah, I think as a young guitar player, it was always the coolest thing, to see someone playing so hard they're bleeding a little bit. It's a little
Yeah,
it's a little intense, but no,
yeah.
you see that and you're like, wow, that guy's like he's
Oh
really
yeah,
he's
yeah,
really digging in. But
yeah.
yeah, Skip, I think we covered a lot there with the new line, and really appreciate you being here in the midst of these kind of strange times and not being able to be in California. So, was there anything else you wanted to
No, I'm
end on
good.
there?
I appreciate everybody that jumped on the feed, and thanks a lot, and thanks to zZounds and everything you guys do with us, and we appreciate it all, and you guys do a great job.
Awesome, thank you. Well, it's always a pleasure to work with you guys, and hopefully we can get out to Nazareth sometime in the nearest future.
Sounds good.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
alrighty, Skip. Well, you
Take
have a good
care,
one,
everyone.
man.
All right.
Alrighty,
See ya.
bye.